I thought 2024 was a crazy year, then 2025 rolled around and it was just as crazy. And I already know 2026 is also going to be a crazy year. So grab yourself something to drink and let's get into it. This year, I pretty much achieved all major goals that I set for myself, which is insane. Obviously, didn't set big enough goals. But at the same time, the goals that I set at the beginning of the year and what I thought achieving those goals would do for me, and comparing that to where I am now and where those goals actually led me, are two very different things. But let me give you a quick review of what happened in 2025. So, my year started out with me writing my master's thesis, which was pretty much filling up the whole first quarter. I was insanely busy and didn't really have any capacities to do anything else during that time. It was really important to me though, because this was the last step that I needed to take to finally be done with that degree. And I'm really happy with how everything turned out. And I'm very proud of what I achieved because I passed with amazing grades. Very shortly after, I was let go from my job very unexpectedly, and that kind of led to a whole chain reaction of events. Because as I was told that I wouldn't be working anymore, I was like, okay, then let me just move to Japan. Because why would I stay in Germany if all I want to be is in Japan? So I was ready to get my flights and work on that visa application. And I was just gonna sleep about it one more night, just really, feel it out. I kid you not, I get a call the next morning to schedule a surgery appointment that I had been waiting for over a year at that point. I hadn't heard anything. I wasn't on a waiting list or anything during that entire year. And that call the next morning completely changed my plan again because I'm like, well, I've been waiting for this for so long, so let me just get on with that and then go to Japan afterwards. A few weeks after that whole dilemma, I went to the Polyglot Gathering in Brno. I already went in 2024. I had so much fun and decided that I have to go back. So I went back in 2025. I even held a talk, which I was really nervous about, but I had so much fun. The audience was amazing. They participated so well. I'm hoping that they upload that talk to YouTube someday, maybe. And I'll let you know, obviously. But I'm definitely planning on going next year again. I'm already looking so forward to it. You can still get tickets. So if you're into learning languages, talking about languages, this event is for you. A few weeks after that, I went into surgery. And during that same time period, I was also applying for my Japan visa, the working holiday visa. So I applied for the visa. I then got the visa. And then pretty much as soon as I got it, I moved out of my apartment a few days later and then moved to Japan a few days after that. So this is where the Japan era starts, which is obviously a lot more recent, so my memories are going to be a lot fresher, and I also have a lot more opinions about this part of my life. At first, I moved into a hostel, which I didn't realize you couldn't register your address until you actually moved into a place. Without an address, you can't get a bank account and you can't apply for jobs. So for the first few weeks of being in Japan, I was just basically doing nothing because I couldn't really do anything. Poor planning on my part, I understand that. I then moved into a bit more of a permanent place where me and my husband, we stayed there. My husband came to visit me for a little over 2 months, I believe, which was so much fun. I really enjoyed seeing Japan through his eyes for the first time again, all the wonder and joy that you experience of like being in a country so different from your own. It was also during that time that I started working as a German localization quality tester, which I didn't realize that work would literally take over my entire life. Like I have to get up at 8 to be ready by 9, to get to work by 10, to then work all day long until 7, and then not get home before 8. I'm busy with work-related things 12 hours every single day. That is pretty crazy to me. And for some reason, I feel like that's not the reality I live in. I feel like I'm, in a temporary different reality, and then I'll just go back to my student reality, I guess, where, I still had things to do. I still had a schedule where I needed to be at school. But then I feel like I had so much more freedom with how I wanted to spend my time and where I wanted to spend being and the things that I wanted to spend my time on. And I feel like now there's no flexibility whatsoever. So right now I'm not really sure how to cope with that because obviously that's a reality for like a lot of people, but it was one of those moments where reality just hit me really hard and I didn't realize that that is the reality a lot of people live. So yeah, I don't know. How do you cope with that? Anyways, back to what I was originally saying. I started working that job, and I will make a more detailed video of what that job entails and what you do in the future at some point when I don't work there anymore. But for now, I just do my job. As a last big trip while my husband was still in Japan, we went to Taiwan to the Polyglot Conference, which was so much fun. It's always fun meeting people from the gathering, people that are interested in languages as well. And Taiwan is a very beautiful country. I love the aesthetic. There's like plants everywhere, random plant pots and little greeneries and bushes, and it's, I don't know, I really love the aesthetic, and I hope I can go back sometime in the future. After my husband left Japan, I decided to move into another apartment again because the one that we stayed at was a little too expensive for me. And so I moved into essentially a glorified prison cell. I really do not like that apartment. It's tiny, there is no light, the kitchen is freezing cold, and there's literally nothing in it. We can't store anything in the kitchen, and I don't know, bad place choice. And then right now I'm back to the US for the holidays and will be returning to Japan shortly. At this point, I'm honestly fed up with a lot of things, and I think I would be a lot more bothered by my living situation if my husband and I hadn't gotten amazing news about the status of our visa process, which quite drastically changed the schedule of the next couple of months. But to come back to what I said at the beginning of the video of essentially hitting all my major goals, I graduated and I moved to Japan, and I'm entering 2026 with such a better understanding of what I want, what I care about, and most importantly, what I am capable of. Because it keeps hitting me that, through my effort over the years, I am now in a position where I just moved to Japan because I could, and I can live my daily life there because I speak the language, and I got to speak at fun events about things that I love to people that actually care about listening to what I have to say. And I have a master's degree just sitting there waiting to be used once I'm ready to go for a real job hunt. I tend to forget that I'm capable of so much, and obviously it's not like all my insecurities are suddenly gone, but I feel like this year was such a good reminder, and I will try my very best to carry that into 2026. Speaking of which, I already know that 2026 is going to be just as chaotic as the last 2 years. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces. There are going to be some major life changes coming up for me. I'm trying my best to just embrace whatever comes my way, but it is exhausting. First, I go back to Japan for a while, and I'll keep working for a little. I'm trying to enjoy my time there, though right now it feels more like being there is holding me back more than anything, because I know there are things I should do that would be easier if I was not in Japan. However, it is what it is. I will return to Germany not long after, so I am cutting my working holiday short. The visa is for an entire year. I'm going back after like half a year or something. There's going to be a lot of things going on while I'm in Germany, and at the end of all of that, I'll be going to the Polyglot Gathering. It's in Brno again this year. I'm already really looking forward to it. I'm so happy that things kind of worked out the way they did, and I might even be holding a talk again. I'm still waiting for confirmation on that, but I would be more than excited to be on the stage again. Then, after the gathering, sometime in June, I hope that I can finally move to the US. It has been a long time coming, and there's still so much uncertainty around pretty much everything that I can't really say anything. But if everything goes well, my life will be turned upside down. I'm leaving Germany, I'm moving to the US. Fingers crossed. And I hope that by the end of 2026, life will have calmed down a little more to a point where I can just have a very stable, maybe even boring routine where I just go to work. I can go to the gym 2-3 times a week. I can do my hobbies once I get home after work. I can talk to my husband. We can go on dinner dates on the weekends. And there's just more regularity in my life. I know to a lot of people this might just sound like their normal everyday life, but when you're in a long distance relationship, and you're pretty much required to travel 2-3 times a year to just see your husband, then you become really appreciative of all these small moments. And I'm sure I'll get bored of that eventually as well, but for the time being, I'm really looking forward to that stability and just calmness and peace. 2026 is going to be a great year. I'm going to have to set my goals even higher, and then we'll see how that goes. Let me know how your 2025 was. Let me know what you're doing in 2026, and I'll see you in the next video.